welcome back to Dom's Corner, everybody. I am your host, Dom Martino, and sitting down here with me today is Mr. Ian Schick. Ian, how you doing today, bud?
Phenomenal. How are you doing?
That's great to hear, sir. I'm doing very well. Got a lot of fun stuff today to talk about, to dive into. But guys, before we do that, please hit that like button below, share this with your friends, leave some feedback in the comment section. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do that as well. A lot of stories that broke, like a lot of stories that are all kind of part of the same story that broke just recently here. It was quite the news cycle, having to do with Spider-Man. And let's see, we also we got some HBO.
Spider-Man are one of the worst actors ever to touch Spider-Man.
We have some big HBO Max things going on, and though it's a big deal, Christopher Nolan is speaking out about that. And I got some movie reviews today. I finally got to see some new movies that we can go over. So a lot of fun stuff. So I was I was going to get gas today at the gas station, as you do, and
I hope you're not getting it at the cemetery.
Right. Well, I don't know why this is, but people insist on yelling, like at the gas station. Like this gentleman was going into the he gets out of his wife's car, right? They're parked at the gas pump. Like when you go to get gas at the gas station, that's where you park, obviously. So him and his wife, they're parked at the gas pump. So I'm sitting here like, I'm thinking that like any normal person, this man who's going in is going in and he's gonna pay for gas, right? Like that's what I thought. And suddenly he gets all the way for the gas pump to, it's a Speedway, so it's a slightly bigger gas station. He gets from the gas pump all the way to the door of the Speedway. And once he's at the door, the wife, "Get gas! Get gas!" And I'm sitting there like, well, you parked at the gas pump, lady. And he got out of your car from the gas pump. I'm assuming he knew to pay for gas while he was inside, right? Like, there's no...
God bless Indiana.
There is no reason for that. But this woman, I mean, God bless her, she thought she had to yell that. And I'm at the gas pump next to them, so of course it's hurting my ears. And so I was not thrilled about my trip to the gas station today.
I just imagine you trying to put the nozzle in, and the moment she says get gas, you're just like, oh, fuck!
Who does that, though? Get gas!
I get gas.
Lady, like, Jesus. I mean, it would have just been better. Like, everybody, of course, at the gas station is pumping gas, is, like, looking at her now. It would have been better on her part to just walk nicely over and tell him that, not to yell that from the car. But, like you said, Indiana.
God bless Indiana.
Oh, boy, how's your week been?
Long.
Yeah.
Very long. Watched a new movie from a company I enjoy.
What movie was it?
Weathering with You. I showed you the steel books. It was Weathering with You, Your Name, Detective Pikachu, and Elf.
Is it actually a new movie, or is it?
Came out earlier this year.
It's a 2020 movie?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let you review that then. So Weathering with You, how was that?
I personally like their movie Your Name better. Same company. Your Name is a fantastic story. I think I've realized that the man who's making these is just going to make a bunch of love stories, and that's okay with me.
Same company as the Studio Ghibli, right?
No, actually, fun fact. Studio Ghibli disbanded, and then some of the people went to this company and started working with him. And then from that movie's hit, another good portion of Studio Ghibli went to him. So with Weathering with You, you get a lot more quality out of that too. I feel like Your Name had a better story. I feel like Weathering with You was more of a full length OVA, which is like an animated, like I forget what the term is, but essentially it's just a big animated music video. I mean, that's what it feels like to me. Good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10. Where with Your Name. Now this is with like top tier anime movies in mind, because there's a few that I would not even rate a 7. Um, so I'd give this one a 7.5, honestly.
Okay.
Where with Your Name, I give that like almost a perfect 10.
Yeah.
So definitely drop in quality. I think what happened was he's trying to compete with what Studio Ghibli made. Now that they're no longer making anything, I think he's trying to compete with what Studio Ghibli made, and now he doesn't kind of know what really to do. So it kind of just felt more Studio Ghibli than anything, and that's okay. But it's just like, let's see what we can do. Another fun fact about the movie: it uses they Easter egg 2 characters from Your Name into
Oh,
the movie,
that's
which
cool.
is cool. Yeah. So it ties them together, and then he explains how they're tied together, and that those characters haven't officially met yet. So if you ever watch either of them, you watch both of them, it'll make sense what I mean by that. But
I
I
have
don't want to
actually
I don't want to spoil anything.
I've actually seen Your Name, believe it or not. I forgot to tell you, I've watched that. I
Really?
enjoyed it quite a bit. That
That is
was
like one of the best movies out this generation.
It's pretty great. I have actually seen that.
I'm
That
proud of you.
interests me. That I would definitely like to watch this one. So,
Again, it's not as good.
okay.
It feels like an animated music video. What
Mhm.
like for a full length album, which is fine. Um, Your Name just had a better story. The animation in this one was fantastic, though.
Yeah.
I like the animation in this. Um, Definitely give it a shot,
Okay.
hands down.
Yeah. I got to rewatch Your Name as well. Remember how I used to have kind of a bad taste in my mouth for anime back in the day?
Yeah,
Well, Your Name being kind of one of my first forays into that world.
Your
I
Name is a great way to break into it.
Well, I decided to watch it pretty drunk, so I want to rewatch it again. So like I remember enjoying it as a drunk man, but I need to revisit it. But
Do
I
you even
have
remember the story,
actually
really,
not really at this point because this was a year and a half back, and I was pretty drunk, and I haven't
bro?
taken the time to revisit. But
I
I
have
remember
I have a
enjoying
code
it.
for it. I have a code for Your Name. I don't have a code for Weathering with You. That one
Okay.
didn't come with a code, but I'll put it on my Voodoo, and if you want to log into my Voodoo, we can
Yeah.
watch it together.
Yeah, I would like to watch that again. And the other thing with Your Name, like
Ian,
I remember the animation though, and enjoying that. Like I could vividly see the animation still in my head and really enjoying it and thinking that it was the bomb. So
the
that's one
animation
I've
is
seen, believe it
on
or
par.
not. And I remember enjoying. I need to revisit that, but
Here's the problem, though. It's a great way to segue into anime, but the problem is you're not gonna be able to appreciate old anime now. That's the whole problem. It's like going into new Star Wars and then watching the old Star Wars.
mm,
It's hard
yeah.
to appreciate it in that sense
I
since
don't
you're
know.
new
I
to
hope
it.
anybody could still enjoy the old Star Wars even after watching the new, but
I
uh,
hope so too,
I would hope.
but we know how people are. They're all quality hogs.
I I don't know, man. I put on New Hope again just the other day. Man, I'm telling you, like it's hard to top
I
those originals.
I still love them.
Yeah,
I love them, and I love the quality of them.
yeah.
But the way people are, if they didn't start off with New Hope and shit like that, they're not gonna enjoy it.
It depends on the
They're gonna,
person.
well, for the most part, yes.
I would hope that anybody like would just be amazed at how well New Hope especially is held up over the years because it's all done practically. So when it doesn't, you don't have like dated CGI all over it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because everything's so practical in there.
Which even with the prequel trilogy had some decent CGI. Honestly, some of the best CGI of its
I
time.
disagree.
Not
I think it's
not
incredibly
the
dated.
best.
I think it's
I
incredibly
don't.
dated.
I don't.
Compare the originals, which were practical throughout, and the
I mean, compared to those, yes, but I mean, like for the time that they had, I feel like the time that CGI was, it held up.
I disagree. I like the CGI in Revenge of the Sith more than anything.
That one I can agree with.
Yeah, because that one's awesome. I mean, that's
But that
awesome
also
movie.
came out in 2008, didn't it?
2006, yeah.
Okay, I thought it was 8.
And 6, 8, it all feels like the same span of time. So, but
that movie is as old as Chocolate Rain.
But go back to the anime thing. I watched I watched Batman Ninja and could not get into it. Like I remember that movie pretty well too, and I thought that sucked.
It's because it's DC.
No, DC's animated stuff is always good.
No,
not
no,
always. But
I know that. No, it's almost always. But here's the thing: DC shouldn't have tried to do a Japanese style of animation.
Yeah. Well, I just felt like that they didn't.
DC just needs to stick to one thing and one thing only.
Well, it's not DC.
Animated movies with their only style.
Whoever they pegged to, create that. I think.
No, it's DC.
I don't know. I don't know if I would blame them. I mean, they're to blame because they brought in the creator, and that creator,
good enough for me,
did not understand Batman. Like, everybody was scared back in like 99, right? Not 99, 89. I'm sorry. When Tim Burton did Batman, right? And I understand that because it's bringing in this Tim Burton kooky style into Batman. But when you see it, it's like that works because Tim Burton, sure, he had his kooky style all over that movie, but
he understands Batman.
He understood the character, exactly. And I think that that was my problem with Batman Ninja. It's like, okay, there's a lot of like really pretty looking animation throughout it, for sure. And I understand like why anime fans would like it, but the movie itself was it just didn't understand the Batman character. Didn't understand any of the characters, in my opinion.
I feel like the best way to really segue into anime. I'm sorry. I just hate DC, so I'd rather just segue away from that because I feel like it's going to be bad anyway. I haven't watched it, so I don't have much to say about Batman Ninja, other than it's probably a nonsensical movie.
You'd probably like it as an anime movie, but as a DC Batman movie, you wouldn't.
That already ruins it for me. Right. I mean, like, I understand that Batman has his own
history
with martial arts and stuff, but
yeah, and like I thoroughly enjoy like, it brought in a lot of the Japanese culture and stuff, and I was like enjoying the vibes of that. But like when it came down to Batman and all the characters, the Joker, like
it doesn't fit.
They didn't know what they were doing with that, and you're right, it ruined it. The mesh of the two just ruined the crap out of it. So I'll talk about the first. Go ahead.
If you're gonna segue to anime, I highly suggest watching Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo first. Honestly, I really suggest those. They're short series, hands down, some of the best animated work ever done.
Yeah, I'm gonna move into that soonish at some point.
Definitely do. It's on Hulu. I mean, you can find it almost everywhere.
Yeah. But so I'm going to talk about the first thing I watched recently. So the first thing I watched was the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion on HBO Max.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah. So here you go. So this is my review of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion.
Spoiler free, I hope.
Yes, I won't tell you anything about it.
Okay.
Because they definitely there's stuff in here you don't want to know about for sure. So my impression of this was that it's very well done, very highly produced, but not overly produced. Like you can tell that
the right amount of budgeting.
What's that?
The right amount of budgeting.
Yeah, it was perfect. It was perfect for what it needed to be. You kind of want something that's like you want something that had work put into it for something like this, to see this cast come back together on the same set, of the house, and it was really awesome. This isn't something that's like one of those narrative reunions. They just kind of talked about the experience together, and what all that was like. But it was still really cool to see. It runs about an hour and 13 minutes long, so it's not very long.
So
That
it's just a special.
Yeah, but that was one of my complaints though. If we're only going to do this once, I could have watched it for 2 hours. I'm serious because I
I
wanted
could
to
understand
see,
that.
and I feel like there probably was more stories and things like that they could have told and more they could have done. But for the hour and 13, they actually did a pretty damn good job. There were a lot of
What
spots.
if they made it so short to see if it hit well?
Possibly. I mean, it'd be cool to see like a part two or a follow up. Um, I mean, it's a lot of it made me emotional. I mean, obviously, James Avery isn't there. Um,
Big sad.
yeah. So it's sad not to see Uncle Phil anymore, and yeah, the cast, but they pay tribute to him, and that's about all I'll say on the extent of him. They found a great way to pay tribute to him. Will Smith was pretty pretty awesome as far as like really coming in and being like this leader figure to the cast, coming into this and coming back in, and he took a lot of this was definitely taken into his hands, I felt like. And yes.
Keep going. I'll be right back. I have my other headset on so I can hear you.
Okay. All right, so a lot of this was taken from definitely, like, it was taken into Will Smith's hands, and he kind of had a lot of it seemed like he felt a lot of responsibility to make this work. Um, if you've seen the trailer, this isn't a spoiler. I mean, obviously, the way that they Carlton comes out, Alfonso something, I can't remember his name, I apologize, comes out and surprises everybody, is super cool, and it's even cooler watching it all
Alfonso Romero.
play out. Thank you. Watching it all play out, it's even a lot cooler, and it was kind of awesome, and this isn't really a spoiler, but they kind of, because this is something that was done in the show, them kind of explaining the process about how it became. It was initially supposed to be the relationship between Will and Uncle Phil, and it never really lost that, but it became more. They wanted to throw the Will and Carlton relationship at the forefront of the show, and for fans of the Fresh Prince, I mean, this is a must see, for those reasons alone. Obviously, I mean, this is public news. I mean, Will Smith, the reason that they had to replace Aunt Viv on the show is that Will Smith, wasn't not nice to her, and they dive into that. He wasn't very good to her on the set. They dive into what those problems were. They don't really hold a
Wait.
lot back. Yeah.
So wait. So is this talking about the process
Well,
of
they talk
making
about the process.
making?
Yeah, well, not the process of making. Well, yeah, to some degree. I mean, like, this maybe the one thing that might be semi spoilery, but not really. Like they kind of talk about like when they would shoot these shows, because
So this isn't a movie. This is just like a documentary of the show.
right, but it's
Okay.
amazing. There's no like narrative, but it has. It's a documentary of the show, but it's a reunion because all the cast is coming together
Yeah.
to tell the
I d-
story of the making.
See,
And yeah,
I didn't know if they were coming together to make it like a movie and be like, hey, here's just a nice little touch up to the show, just kind of help add a little extra to the story.
right. Well, I'm glad you asked because just to preface this, they do a lot of that stuff, like where it's talking about the process of making it, and like how, like, for example, like when people came to see that, like the live audience would come to watch a taping of the Fresh Prince, they wanted, Will Smith especially wanted to make it an experience for them. He figures, hey, they're paying all this money, let's go out there, get them all hyped up before we start and everything, and we're gonna make this
That's
a
what's
real
up.
experience. And it was like Fresh
So they didn't
Prince.
use laugh tracks.
No, it was a real live audience, and they show a
Thank
lot of
God.
this behind the scenes footage, and they show you the real deal. The other,
I need to watch this.
yeah, oh, it's fantastic. The other thing about it is like, and like I said, I was glad you asked that because it's a lot of them is like, a lot of it is just them sharing like memories together. things like that, and it feels real on that level.
See, yeah, I thought this was going to be like them coming together and making like a little extra to the show, like like a 10 years, 20 years, 30 years later type thing.
No, and I know a lot of people probably feel like they wanted that, but on the same hand, I'm telling you, I think you'll be much happier with this when you see it, because this is a much better way to approach a reunion after seeing it. They really killed it. And the thing is like, how are you going to really do it without James Avery, right? Like
I mean,
you
one
could,
thing they could do.
you
We'll,
could.
we'll get into that. We'll get into that with how to do it without James Avery.
Okay.
But I want you to finish your review, and afterward, let's touch base on how they would redo the show
All right.
or
That'd be fun.
continue the show.
That'd be fun. We could do that.
I like the idea of that. Now that I know that this is the thing and how it's working out.
Yeah, but the other thing is, as I was saying, obviously they've replaced Aunt Viv earlier on in the show.
I honestly didn't know that.
And yeah, a lot of it was because Will Smith, and this is public news. This isn't from the thing specifically, but I will tease like a lot of that was due to like the way that Will Smith treated the actress, and she left because of Will Smith specifically and
How
his
did he-
behavior on set.
I am actually really curious. I didn't know anything about that.
Well, that I want to save until you see it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to give that stuff away, but they do go.
The one question I'll ask: did he sexually harass her or no?
No, it's nothing like
Okay.
that. It's
Okay.
more verbal.
Okay.
Stuff.
See now I'm kind of getting a good picture here. I don't. It's not spoiling anything for me. I'm getting a good picture here. So I mean, like with Will being who he was before he became who he is, I could totally see him kind of being a douchebag before like hitting it.
Well, yeah, and like this isn't a big spoiler either, trust me. But like one of the things you said is like back then he wasn't a father, he wasn't, you know what I mean, who he is now, and he wasn't shaped.
He was just a kid who just learned what fame is.
Right, and but I will say what they do to follow up on that is very cool. If I could, I'll just say it that way and leave it there.
Okay.
Because yeah, what they do to touch on that, because they touch on the Aunt Viv thing in a very cool and very unexpected way, and that was one of the biggest surprises to me, and I thought that it really actually, after seeing it, it makes the show itself more complete than if we'd just gotten like another episode or something. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's why I say it's the perfect way to do it was what they did, and they really knocked it out of the park. Yeah, you're good. But anyway, it was like I was saying, Ian's taking a call, but like I was saying, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion on HBO Max. Check it out. It's definitely worth it. I hope you guys all do if you're Fresh Prince of Bel-Air fans. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air fans. I think you'll really, really thoroughly enjoy it. So check that out, and hey, let me know what you thought of this in the comment section below. That would be very, very much appreciated. And yeah, thanks. So Ian's going to take his call, and then once he's done with that,
I'm sorry. Was I unmuted?
no,
Oh,
you are now. Yeah, so Ian's taking his call, and we are going to just talk a little bit more about a couple of other things. Here's what we'll do. Here's what we'll move into. We will move into my next review, which is this new movie that I finally got the opportunity to see, which is a film called Freaky. So this is from the director of the Happy Death Day films. Two films I actually haven't watched myself, but they definitely are films that have gained a cult following. And what this movie is essentially is it's the Freaky Friday concept with a horror spin on it. So, and it stars Vince Vaughn and Catherine Newton. And this film is yes.
Pause that thought. Is this? Are you talking about the movie that new movie that literally just came out?
Right, Freaky. Yeah.
Oh,
I got
shit.
to see it.
Okay.
So, so listen, guys. So this is one of the. Well, here's what I'll say. If you want to like this movie, you're probably going to enjoy this movie. Like if you saw the trailer and you thought it looked great and you thought it looked like a cool concept to bring the Freaky Friday concept into horror, it was done very well on that level. So that's one thing I'll say is like bringing this. Yes.
I have a quick question. Have you seen Happy Death Day?
No, but this is the director. Yeah, I mentioned that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. So how would you compare it? What do you think is better?
I haven't seen the Happy Death Days, but I want to watch them now. If that tells you anything.
Dude, they're so fucking good.
Yeah,
they're so good.
I want to watch them now that I've seen this because this movie was so much fun and it really found a way to bring like a lot of fun into horror and do it just did a really good job at that. I enjoyed this movie a lot more than I thought I was going to. The beginning, a little rough. I won't lie to you. Barely though. It's like the beginning is like barely rough. There are parts definitely where the movie thinks it's being funny and it's not that funny, but it just definitely keeps a consistent fun tone for the most part. And when it needs to be on the scarier side, it does that really well. Also, it balances it all very well. The kind of serious side and the comedic side. I thought the ending was super cool. By the way, there's like this ending that you're not going to expect, and it just kind of hits you out of nowhere. And I thought that was a lot of fun. But I wanted to talk about our two cast members here, and this might be a given because I've already said I've enjoyed the movie. So this might be a given when talking about the two cast members, but obviously for this movie to work, Catherine Newton and Vince Vaughn had to sell this movie, and they had to make it work, and they had to make it like, Catherine Newton had to play like, the creepy Vince Vaughn serial killer psychopath was in her body, and Vince Vaughn had to play like she was in his body. And both just as actors did a tremendous job playing that. Like, body swap movies are kind of one of the most underrated things, in my opinion, because when you think about it, the body swap concept is a lot more difficult than like you might think it is. You have to really sell that you've swapped bodies, and these two really nailed it.
It takes getting into each other's heads.
Yes, and they nailed it. Like I think about
which movie is it? It's still Freaky, right?
Freaky, right? And
okay.
when you think about it, and I thought about it as I was watching it, it's like how that process is. It's like those two had to have spent a lot of time together to make it work. You know what I mean?
I just don't. I've found that I don't like Vince Vaughn and his later movies, so I'm kind of iffy about going into this one. But I trust his ability to play a role.
Yeah, fantastic.
And I feel like I could enjoy this. The idea that it kind of gave me off was a mix of Freaky Friday and White Chick, or what is it? Not White Chick, White Girl. What is it?
White Chicks.
No, not White Chicks. It's the one about the girl that switches bodies with that fucking crazy dude. What is his name? He played in The Animal. I can't think of his name for life.
Oh, Hot Chick. Hot Chick. I know what you're talking about.
Hot Chick. What's his name? Rob Schneider. Rob Schneider. Okay, yeah. So
I didn't necessarily get Hot Chick vibes. Like, see, to me, like the thing with Hot Chick, the difference with something like that in this.
See, I did from the trailers. Now I haven't seen the movie.
I see. Yeah, like the difference between something like that in this movie, and I definitely wanted to dive into this is how they did the humor, because it pops up so organically as to like where the Hot Chick you have like actual written jokes. Like nothing about the humor in this movie felt like a written joke. You know what I mean?
It felt more like they kind of improv'd it.
It felt like it served the story, and it was just like it just happens. Like if you're gonna laugh, you're gonna laugh because, and it's like honestly, like it's the strangest thing. It's not a comedy per se, but it's so funny at the same time.
Nah, dude, look. I'm gonna tell you right now, it is a comedy. I don't care if it's not labeled as one. If the director of Happy Death Day made it, it's a comedy.
Right, but it's a comedy like disguised.
It's a nice twist on horror.
It's a comedy disguised in a horror movie.
It's a nice twist on horror.
Right, and it's it's a lot of fun, and yeah, because Vince Vaughn plays it so well, you're kind of watching it like he's yeah, everything that he does that's humorous, it comes organically. And then on the other side, you have Catherine Newton. I'm really starting to like this chick because she's been doing really good stuff lately. I liked her.
What else she been in?
Oh, Detective Pikachu, she did really well in.
Oh, okay.
And there was
I think I know exactly what character it was.
Blockers. She was in Cock Blockers.
I didn't like her character in Detective Pikachu really.
Oh, really?
Her character just felt like it was just added there just as a nice side relief character.
Well, maybe not the character, but she did fine for what she was supposed to do.
No.
Yeah,
her
I get
role,
what you're saying.
Her role was good.
I felt
she
the
did a
same
good
way
job
about
playing
her
the
in
role.
Detective Pikachu. I felt the same way about the character, but I thought she did well. Like,
yeah, no, I agree with that 100%. I felt like the character was just thrown in there as some kind of extra dynamic that it didn't need.
Yeah.
But it could be the whole dynamic of, you know, how when you're playing the games, you get a choice between being a girl or a boy. I felt like that was also the kind of the extra dynamic there. It wanted to give you those two choices.
Sure. I mean, and then in Blockers, like, I didn't really enjoy many of the kid performances, but I thought she did really well. Like, I thought that she was one of the standouts.
I like that Indian girl.
Well, performances, not attractiveness.
I don't care.
Okay.
Her performance was great just because I find her so attractive.
Fair enough. But
hit me up, please.
But and anyway, going back to Freaky, guys, I think that this is one of the better horror comedies I've seen in a long time. I highly recommend it.
Where can I watch this now?
This is it's available on demand. I don't know if it's rentable. I know it's buyable at the very least, but I don't know if it's rentable yet. But yeah, I definitely recommend checking it out, and it's a lot of fun. Vince Vaughn, great performances, really good comedy. The guy from, I can't think of his name, from Ferris Bueller's in here, the one that plays Cameron. He's in this film as well.
Dude, it's been so long since I watched Ferris Bueller.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
He's in this movie as well.
I think the last time I watched that was 11.
Wow. Yeah, you're due for a rewatch of that. That movie holds
I really am.
That movie really holds up.
Is that on your Vudu?
I think so.
I love
pretty sure. But yeah, guys, let me know what you thought of Freaky if you got the chance to watch it. And what's this director's name, Ian? Do you know off the top of your head?
I do not, but I can look it up real fast. It'll only take 2 seconds.
Okay, yeah, please do,
Freaky
because
director.
I want to see. I want to make sure his name's shouted out in this review because he really did a great job helming this movie.
Christopher Landon.
Thank you. Christopher
Landon. You did a fantastic job on Happy Death Day, and I'm looking forward to watching Freaky.
I think you'll love it. I really do. I can't wait to see these Happy Death Day movies now. I wasn't interested till now.
You know what? What's really disappointing to me, since we're on the topic of a horror comedy, I'm not sure if you've seen The Babysitter.
No.
It's on Netflix. It's honestly, it's really, really good. I really enjoyed it. Okay. But I watched The Babysitter 2, and it was bad.
Yeah.
The ending was cute. The ending was nice, but the movie itself, it was just bad.
Yeah.
It used the same kid from Christmas Chronicles 2 as the main character.
Yeah, I was never interested.
The older kid.
Yeah. Yeah, Happy Death Day though. Like I was saying, like I was never interested in those. Now that I've seen Freaky, it's gotten me that much more interested.
If we would have talked about this like 2 years ago, I would have hands down suggested you to watch it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've heard mixed things about them, but this movie is getting like a lot of hype. Like a lot of people are loving this one.
Well, hell yeah. I think it's hands down worth a watch. I think the humor in it is definitely tasteful. I feel like if we were put in a Groundhog Day situation like that, we would have the same reactions.
Yeah. It's interesting. I would definitely, like I said, I can't wait to watch them now. I think that, yeah, it's like, you see this movie and you're like, this is like really refreshing. It's good. You know what I mean? It's like the humor is so organically done and it's really, it's very well directed. And so like the fact that like there's 2 more of these types of movies sitting out there somewhere excites the hell out of me.
So worth it. Honestly, if I were you, I would even buy them because I feel like you're going to like them that much.
I might. I'll check them out and I can't wait, man. I think that, yeah, Christopher Landon, thank God I know his name now, is really, yeah.
He's hot. He's hot. Honestly, he's hot coming. Not like in an attractive sense, but he might be. Who knows? Anyway, no, I mean like the movies he's made, they're hot hits in my opinion. I think that people who had mixed opinions about Happy Death Day just didn't understand the humor, maybe, or it
Maybe.
just wasn't their style of movie.
I compare the Happy Death Day movies. Stick with me here. I compare those to like John Wick. That first one comes out and you don't really hear a lot about it, and then like suddenly the second one's coming out and everybody's excited for it.
I'm glad I bared with you because I about reached through this fucking computer and smacked the shit out of you.
Well, you know what I mean by that, right? Like John
Yeah.
Wick did that thing. Like it
was
gain a
a
following
semi-hit.
until after its DVD release or home release. Then people started really hopping on board.
Dude, it's funny. So like quick reminiscence on John Wick 1 and 2. I watched both of them in the same day for the first time back in like a little bit after John Wick 2 came out.
Yeah.
Probably like 2 months after out. And my friend was like, "Yo, we need to watch John Wick, this and that." He's like, "We need to watch it." And I was like, "Doesn't a dog die in that movie?" And he's like, "Yes, but watch it anyway." I was like, "Bro, that's a hard pass right there." And he's like, "Just watch them." So after 2 hours of this man, Chris Howard, trying his hardest to get me to watch it, he finally was just like, "Look, man, watch it. If you don't like it, fight me." I was like, "All right, you know what? You're going to talk it up this hardcore for 2 hours straight. Fuck it. I'll give it a shot." I cried like a baby when that dog passed away, but the rest of that movie was a fever dream. I loved it. It was like getting high for the first time.
Wasn't my experience the first time watching it. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I laughed. I thought it was a masterpiece.
My experience the first time watching John Wick was this. I don't know why this is, and I will tell you that I want to smack my original self for feeling this way, because when I first watched the movie, well, first of all, give me this, I was dead tired, but I put it on.
So you weren't fully paying attention.
Well, I was, but I wasn't like, I think my eyes were closing and stuff throughout it, and things like that. I was very drowsy. So like
I give you a pass.
Well, the thing is, like, I didn't even hate it or anything like that. Like, I still liked it even with that. But I remember like not being like so hyped for the second one, and then it got a lot of buzz, and then I went over to my buddy's house and we watched the second one. The second movie I thought at the time was the substantially better one. Now that I've gone back and watched them both, I like the first one between 1 and 2. But that said, 3 is now my favorite of the 3.
Oh my god. 3 just covers everything perfectly and leaves enough open perfectly.
Yeah. 3 is like, if you're an action junkie, it's like 3 is the movie for you. Like, it's
I'm not even an action junkie, and I love it.
It's amazing. It's like
each one comes out and I feel like they just top the other.
I don't
2
know.
is just a good setup story. I feel like 2 is a good setup story.
I would go 3, 1, 2 for my ranking right now.
I can respect that.
And
honestly.
I don't dislike any of them. I love all 3. You know what I mean?
Technically, 1 is the setup story, but 2 is the setup story to a bigger universe.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like one has its own good introduction. It's that nice introduction movie that you can really fall in love with. 2 just has a nice drive into opening up the world.
Yeah.
That last scene in 2, it just opens it up perfectly to where you're like, "Oh my fucking god, what?" And then you get to 3 and you're in that world now.
It still sets up that third film very well. It needs to be there. Like, I agree.
Yeah. No, you could not watch 3 without watching 2 and be like, "This makes sense."
It might be my least favorite, but it needs to be there. And like, yeah, there's not one of these John Wick movies that I love all 3. Like, for one reason or the other. Like,
I went and watched John Wick 3 in the theaters like 4 times.
Really?
I don't watch movies multiple times in the theaters.
It was pretty damn good, man. I can't wait to fire it back up. I do have it on 4K. I need to revisit that again, because that movie knocked my socks off. I have 3 on 4K. Yeah. I mean, watching that in a theater with a crowd, though, is something else on its own, because, like, it's...
Jealous?
Well, I mean, it was amazing, because... Actually, I got... I got a funny story about 3. I don't know if he watches my show or not, but he'll remember this. I went to go see 3 for the first time with my buddy DeAndre. And so the part... spoiler for John Wick 3, which has been out for over a year now, but the part where John Wick, he kills the guy with the book.
Oh yes.
My buddy DeAndre is sitting next to me. See, words do hurt. Like everybody in the theater laughed. Like it was like one of those theater interruptions that was like warranted.
Needed.
It was warranted.
It was needed.
Yeah. I loved it, man. And then the second thing that happened to poor DeAndre that night was I spilt my popcorn all over him. And he goes, "Motherfucker!" And then he looks up at me. He's like, he looks down at the popcorn. He's like, looks back up at me and looks down and just starts eating the popcorn off his lap.
Same, hands down, same. That's gross, but same.
It was hysterical. Oh man.
Damn it, Dom.
Yeah. So that I've covered the reviews for the day. So what we'll do now? Go ahead.
Real quick before we jump into the next part, I don't know what you have planned for this because we didn't have time to talk. But we were talking about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and how they could reboot it. Now that I'm off the phone and don't have any more work
let's do
calls.
that. That sounded like a lot of fun. How can we? Okay, so what is the perfect finale for the Fresh Prince? How do we?
So finale. I mean, definitely go over. James Avery is that his name? I can't remember.
Oh yeah, well you would have to pay tribute to him somehow.
Yeah, pay tribute to him
and
definitely.
Explain why he's not there. Obviously.
Yeah. I definitely pay tribute to him, obviously. Have a nice little reunion. Maybe even bring Jaden into the mix, just as like, yo, I had a kid. Yeah, what's up? I'm cool now. I'm a fucking dad.
Are we talking doing another season or another hour? Like
just like an hour,
okay.
2 hour long episode. So like a movie special. Maybe
2 hours would be cool. Yeah, for an episode.
Now, this is just like a quick idea. This isn't what I originally had planned. You asked me how they could do a final thing for it. I don't think a final is necessarily needed. I think that Will Smith doesn't do much anymore in the first place, other than just kind of live life and then grow and teach his own kids. I think it'd be a cool aspect to make a Fresh Prince of like LA.
So like a new generation.
Yeah, where Will Smith is taking that role as James Avery, and you got
that
Carlton.
Could be very cool. That could be very cool.
James Avery is his name, right? I'm not fucking it up.
No, you got it.
Yeah. Okay. Because I know I can be stupid, but I mean, like maybe have Jaden in there. It doesn't have to be Jaden, but like some up and coming star, maybe, and then have them play the role that Will played, and then Will plays in this role that James played. Will doesn't even have to be a fucking predominant part. You know what I'm saying? You don't even need to have another Carlton. You could just have Carlton in there. Carlton could just be best friends with this kid, and this kid's just like, "Will you leave me the fuck alone?" And Carlton's like, "No."
I mean, if we're gonna be realistic about it, obviously we could never get Will Smith to do that. But
no, we couldn't. I wish we could, but because like even just doing 2 seasons of it would be awesome. I don't think it needs to be a 10-season thing. I think a 2-season thing.
Do I think he'd come back for a narrative like finale type thing? Yeah, but I don't know that he would actually do like a new show like that. He might be a producer on it, but I think that
even him being a producer on it, that it's going to get the right light it needs.
Yeah, I mean it'd be cool to have like a Carlton though kind of take on the role of a James Avery too.
I would love that
because he's realistically you could do that. I think he's not busy.
Neither is Will Smith, but Will Smith, I feel like
busy.
he's just living life.
Will Smith's busy.
He's just living life, bro.
He's still like one of the biggest movie stars out there. I don't know.
What movie has he done other than Gemini in the past 10
Gemini
years?
Man and Aladdin. Aladdin was the last one, which was very successful.
Outside of that, in the last 10 years.
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad was trash, so I don't count that.
Still made a lot of money. Concussion.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Either way, I feel like it doesn't even have to be like
the other
he
one
spends
was
full
Margot
time.
Robbie. I'm trying to. Sorry, I was just trying to think of the name of that other one he did with Margot Robbie. Focus. Not a bad movie.
I don't know about that one.
It's not bad. Not great, but not bad.
See, I feel like Will Smith, devoting halftime to it, not full time, just halftime. Like in the times where he's off from his own career.
Yeah, like
you
pop up his cameos. He would probably totally do that.
Like if he plays the role as James Avery played, then hell yeah. If not, all he needs to be is like a secondary character like Carlton originally was.
Yeah.
And I feel like that would make the show just a huge hit because he'd have his own advice for these kids.
Me too. I think it would make it work a lot. I would really
even just 2
thoroughly.
seasons, because like what Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was like young adults coming into adulthood. It's something they could watch and relate to in that era. Whereas like we're in a new era. We're in like a new generation. We're it's it's not like that 80s 90s feel anymore. It's like we're in the 2020s now. Like it's been time. I think that a lot of things have changed to the point where young adults could watch these shows, like even people our generation could watch these shows and just relate to like what he can come up with.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like even just 2 seasons is all that it needs. It doesn't need more than one, need more than 2. It doesn't need, I feel like 1 would be just substantial, but I feel like 2 would be the perfect amount. It doesn't need a lot of substance.
I like also you have that dude as well that made that trailer for a dramatic. It was a fan made trailer for a dramatic take on Fresh Prince.
I saw that.
I like that idea too, and Will Smith really liked that fan made trailer, and he endorsed it pretty much. And I think that if they let that dude adapt his idea, that would be very awesome. Because that looked so legit. Like that looked like a movie that could like be at the Oscars, man. Like it looked that good. Like
see, even just doing a movie, I feel like just to capture the modern times would be good enough.
Yeah.
Take modern time problems and mix them into the show now, because it took modern time problems in the 80s and 90s and made a show out of it, something relatable.
Yeah.
And that's what that show was supposed to be. It was supposed to be something people could go home, watch after school, after work, that are like about to hit adulthood. They're in like their late teens, early 20s, and they're like just coming up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I feel like Fresh Prince definitely captured being a black man in the 80s 90s, without a father, like perfectly. Now, me not living that lifestyle, maybe I'm wrong for saying that, and if I am, I apologize.
No, because they talked
I'm saying this to the viewers,
right? But they even talked about that on the reunion. Like,
did they?
Yeah, well, like how they they would read these scripts and say like, because these guys are like, they're white producers and stuff that work on the show, and it's like, so when they read these scripts, they would read through like every line, and they'd be like, this isn't black enough, and they were lucky enough to have people that said, oh, okay, we can change that and make it more authentic. Yeah.
This is too whitewashed, bud. Oh, right. Cool. Yeah, I got you.
Right.
Well, I know that the person who was producing the show, he himself wanted Will Smith because of who Will Smith was. He was like, yo, I see who you are. I see what you're doing. That's why I want you for the show.
Well,
so I feel like that's why he was.
Quincy Jones was who really came up with it, who is black. But there was like, when you do one of these sitcoms, you have like a team of writers, obviously. And yeah. So it's just different. But
so I mean, like, I feel like that show in general not only captured the like being a black man in the 80s 90s, like growing up. I feel like it captured even like being a black woman during that time too, with the different characters they had. I can't remember their names for the life of me, but the two girls they had in that show,
Ashley and Hillary.
Okay, thank you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like it captured the perfect essence of there, and then it captured that like brotherly bond that Will and Carlton grew with them.
Yeah.
And certain aspects of them being like, yo, you like, I gotta defend you. Even though you're stupid and I hate you, gross, I gotta defend you.
Right. And yeah, they that was kind of another thing they were talking about in that reunion was, that they realized really quickly that they had to, James Avery was still a huge part of it, obviously, and he was always in the background, but they had to bring the Will and Carlton relationship to the forefront. Like that was something that's
what
changed.
Made the show. Yeah, that was what made the show. And I love James Avery. James Avery made me cry all the time.
Oh yeah, man, he was amazing in that show, and that scene. God, I'm gonna tear up just talking about it. But the one where Will's dad. You know what I'm talking about, yeah. And Will said this in interviews before, but he talks about it in the doc. But he was talking about like how, he tried that take so many times and just couldn't get it right, and he would screw up the words or something, and it finally, James Avery, was like, Will Smith like yelled because he was so embarrassed because this is obviously in front of a live audience. They do this, so he was so mad at himself for not getting the lines right. So he actually like yelled and like it was a whole thing. James Avery like yelled at Will, and he's like, "Hey!" He goes, "Right here. Look at me when you do the scene. Look at me when you do the scene, like right here." And so then like Will did it again, and he got obviously the take they ended up using. And when Will went to hug James Avery whispered in his ear, "Now that's fucking acting," and that's the take they kept. Yeah,
That's amazing.
Incredible. Yeah,
that's about to make me tear up.
I
That's
know.
awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty powerful, man. Yeah,
That show is just powerful. Even in the funny episodes, it still has a power behind it.
yeah, I agree.
And that's
man.
like that's why I feel like, just doing a two season series just in a modern time would be powerful to our new generation,
Yeah,
as long as they have like people who get the essence of 2020 or the this 2000s, as long as they can get the essence of it, bring in some kids from all over the world to talk about their own personal experiences, bring in different like people who can come up with ideas and that live the lives, of coming from poverty to like, being richer or in, more of a medium income family.
yeah,
Bring those people in, let them learn, or even take like a rich, like, let's say, I don't think Jaden is spoiled. I mean, he kind of is, but not in a sense of like he's a douchebag about it. But I mean, like, take Jaden's position of being the kid that grew up with a famous dad, and then push that kid towards Carlton,
yeah,
who grew up with a humbling dad.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. I mean,
But
even in like you were talking about power and the comedy, and even like when the show was first kind of getting off the ground a little bit, like in the earlier, like I think this was in the first season, that episode where Will and Carlton got pulled over by cops or whatever. They were like white cops that abused their power, and that I'll never
that's
forget
something
that
we still
episode.
deal with today.
Right, I'll never forget the episode because like it was like one of the first times that the show decided to take a
Political
more
stance.
yes, thank you. A more political stance, and the when Carlton, like, Carlton's character was so naive, to the outside world, and Will was not, and so when it came down to, I mean, obviously they played that for humor in the beginning, but then when it came down to like
The ending of it.
well, Uncle Phil was mad, he had to go bail him out of jail, and that stuff was all funny, but then Carlton asked Uncle Phil, like, about racism and stuff, and then they really dove into
That was
they
a
kept it
powerful
authentic.
episode. See, like, they could even reference that episode with something nowadays. Like, say, like, one of the characters in it has a white friend.
Right.
He's driving or some shit, or in the passenger seat. Like, here's what I think people don't understand with political shows and shit like that. Like, shows that like make things political, like even games. So they see, it's funny because these same people probably love Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air had a lot of politics involved into the humor and the chemical makeup of that show.
Yeah.
I think what the problem is with a lot of these shows, in my own opinion, is they add these politics in and they don't know how to.
Yeah.
So then it becomes the main point of it. Like there were New Mutants. I'm going to use New Mutants for this. New Mutants made that homosexual relationship between the two girls like the big part of the story, and like, don't get me wrong, they were cute. I thought they were a cute couple, even though I don't like the movie. Like, they were a cute couple.
Yeah, they had good chemistry. You can't deny it. Like, they did a good job on that. Yeah.
I won't deny that. But here's the problem with it. Something like that made it feel like that was the whole premise of the story, and it killed the vibe, because it's just like, you can add these things in, make it natural, and that's what makes the message powerful. Because like with Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, with the cop scene, they made it natural.
Yeah.
They didn't make it like the main point.
I agree.
They didn't, like, And I feel like that's what a lot of people have problems with, but they don't know how to express themselves when they're talking about, oh, this game's too political. But then you
Sure.
get games like Last of Us Part 2, which introduces, not to spoil, which introduces a transgender character. I didn't even know the character was transgender. I just felt like that character
Yeah.
was who they were, and I was fine with it. And then when I found out, I was like, oh, that's neat. That's neat. Like they made it so natural, and then a lot of people found out about it, and they're like, oh, it's politics. No, it wasn't political. It was just a normal story. They added something in, and they made it fit. They made it work proper.
Right.
You can do that with shows.
Right.
And I feel like with Will Smith as like a producer for the show, even not even having to be a part of the show, like you said, like he could produce it. I feel like he would help drive that point of mixing the politics in naturally and it making sense to people, making things feel more normalized. Because the more you normalize things, sorry, we're getting now towards the more political stance. I'm cutting it off after this, but to make it more normalized, you got to just mix it in like it's normal. You can't be like, oh, this character's gay, so let's keep expressing that they're gay, or hey, this character's black, so let's keep expressing that they're black. Just let them express themselves. Let the character do its job.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, all valid points, for sure. We do have to move on, though.
I apologize.
No, you're okay. We just have a lot of news. Well, not a lot as much as just going to be big discussions for sure on these topics, and then after that, we're going to talk about that Mandalorian episode, in-depth spoiler. So, so we got to do that at the very end. We'll save that for the end. As far as the news goes, so I wasn't sure what to title this episode or what the main topic was going to be because we had two massive stories. But I'm going to go with the more positive thing as far as what the main topic's going to be, and we'll get to that next. But let's start with the more somewhat good thing, but the depressing thing too. It's been a very bittersweet situation with this HBO Max deal. So, Warner Brothers has signed a deal with HBO Max, and their entire 2021 slate is going to be going straight to streaming onto HBO Max.
Instead of theaters?
Well, they might still play some of these in theaters at the same time. The whole deal is very confusing at the moment. So we knew what was going to happen. We knew Wonder Woman was going to be on Christmas Day and theaters and streaming Christmas Day. These new movies seem to be, I'm sorry. They are, it's not really confusing. Their promo said they're going to be going to theaters too, but they're going to be straight to streaming on the same day. Their entire 2021 slate. So before you get excited about this, let me list some of the movies that are in this 2021 slate. So we have Conjuring 3, we have Matrix 4, we have Dune, we have The Suicide Squad, we have Godzilla vs. Kong, all going
Dune?
straight to streaming. Dune.
They're remaking Dune?
Yeah.
That's neat.
The trailer's
I never
out.
watched the movie. I just know about it. That was my friend Andy's grandpa's favorite movie.
Oh, the trailer's out. It looks awesome. It looks like us. It looks like Game of Thrones and Star Wars meet. So it looks pretty cool.
I apologize for the interjection. I just didn't know they were making Dune.
No problem. And I'm just to interject again. I'm really excited about Dune because, I mean, if you haven't seen Blade Runner 2049, I mean, and what Denis Villeneuve can do with sci-fi, it's incredible. So I'm excited.
I have not.
I'm excited to see his interpretation on this. My problem is like, let's take Dune, for example. I wanted this to be a franchise because they're only adapting the first half of the first book, and I personally want to see this expand and grow and go through all the books because it looks like it could be potentially one of those things. The problem is when you're making these more sophisticated type sci-fi movies, it's going to be hard.
People don't have the capacity.
Well, I think that they would have had they marketed it well, given them a great IMAX experience. I think people would have paid to see this. I just don't know how something like a Dune will do on streaming, and it's going straight to streaming. So we have that going on. Before that, let's talk about this is the thing with this. If we're going to talk about Wonder Woman 84, Yeah, so the thing is Patty Jenkins and Gal Gadot, they both got their back end deals on that. They were like, okay, let's assume that Wonder Woman 84 was going to make $1 billion before we had to put it on streaming. We will still pay you the amount we would have paid you, had that happen. So, and they got their nice little back end deal there. But the problem with all these other movies is not only did they not get their back end deals, they didn't get any deal at all. So this is what's being reported here is that HBO Max went ahead and decided to throw these movies on streaming without alerting any of the filmmakers, any of the cast members, anything. They just made this decision out of the plain blue. So, as you can imagine, a lot of people are pretty upset. A lot of people are very, very pissed off about this decision.
Because it makes them lose money, doesn't it?
Well, not only does it make them lose money, I'll take from Christopher Nolan's quote, who, by the way, is not even somebody who's getting screwed by this deal, but he decided to chime in because he's worked with Warner Brothers many times as a filmmaker, and he said many talented actors and filmmakers went to bed thinking they were working for the greatest movie studio in the world with Warner Brothers, and woke up working for the worst streaming service in the world. So
really though,
handed it to Warner Brothers. Yes and no.
Who was it that owned the rights to? God, what was it? Evil Dead series.
That was Stars.
Okay, I don't know. I feel like Stars would probably be worse.
Well, they never really. I mean, you can get like a Stars app, but they never really had their own streaming service like HBO Max and Warner Brothers do. But no. But here's the thing. Okay, looking at this from a streaming, from an audience member, this might be okay. I love the theater experience, but some of these movies, I'm gonna be okay with watching at home, and it's like it's gonna be kind of cool. You and I are both now going to be able to see these things on the same day and review them on the same day. You know what I mean? So that's a benefit, there. We don't have to go pay for a theater ticket anymore. We just get to see these things from home. So that's nice as an audience member. And as somebody who's reviewing movies, I get to just sit in the comfort of my home. I mean, sometimes, there'd be like last year when I was going to see like every friggin' movie, there would just be days where I just wasn't in the mood to go to the theater to see something, but I would have to try to get a review out for it, right? So,
yeah,
and so from that angle, it's beneficial. Plus, you don't pay anything extra on top of the HBO Max fee. If you're already a subscriber, you're just getting these movies.
Okay, that's kind of neat.
Yeah, so
it's kind of like getting Netflix, essentially.
Yeah, so you and I can actually now hop on here and do reviews of these things.
If I ever get HBO Max.
You should have it soon. I'll get back to you on that.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, you should have it soon. But I'll talk to you about that. But anyway, so that there's that benefit. But looking at this from the filmmakers and the cast members, that it takes something like a Dune. This is a really good example of this. And not only is it this though, like not only did they not talk about to like Denis Villeneuve and Timothy Chalamet and Zendaya and Jason Momoa and Oscar Isaac and this entire awesome cast that's going to be in Dune and the filmmaker behind Dune. Not only did they not talk to all these people, but they decided to Liberty Limited, I think it is one of the partners that put a lot of money into Dune, and they didn't even decide to tell the companies that they partnered with to help finance a movie like Dune. So, from a business end, a lot of people got screwed. Like, and the thing is like, when you're looking at it from Denis Villeneuve's perspective alone, who's the filmmaker on Dune, he made this for the IMAX.
Yeah.
How many people are going to go see this in the IMAX now if it's on their TV at home?
It's probably cut in half.
Right. By a long shot. And so, like, yeah, and, the Suicide Squad. Think about James Gunn, who's probably trying to turn that franchise around. He wanted to probably make a movie for the theater. And now people can't go see it. I think about Matrix 4. How many people wanted to see Matrix? I mean, I'm sure the filmmakers behind that wanted Matrix 4 to be seen on the big screen. And
I didn't even realize that. That is, oh my God.
Right. And now it's not going to be able to do that.
Which means they were probably going to reboot the series too. Like actually like do a soft reboot and just continue it.
Well, it's not that it won't make money. And here's the thing. I don't know how they're going to justify what movie makes what now. That's going to be a different conversation. But
once they figure out how the streaming is going to work.
Here's the thing. And this is how it was explained to me, because I honestly have always been confused about the logistics of streaming and all that, and like how the movies actually make money, how the services actually make any money, and especially when you look at like Netflix, who was in debt. But let's look at Disney Plus, for example.
Let's say Netflix is in debt just because of their own shitty movie directing. They like we said before, every one good movie, there's 5,000 worse ones.
Well, you know what the thing is Netflix, when they make an original thing, that's what makes them money. But when it comes to all these things that they license out, is the reason they're in debt, is all their licensing fees, because they're putting other people's movies on their service. Disney Plus and HBO Max don't have that problem, because
it's all their own shit.
Right. They don't have to pay licensing fees, so they're not going to be in crazy debt. And the way this was interesting, the way when you break it down, this was explained to me, and it makes a lot more sense, is that so many more people are turning 18 and moving out of their homes every year, and they are getting their own subscriptions now. So streaming services are making more money every year, and they are getting new subscribers, and they are making billions of dollars off this. Disney Plus will,
because these kids don't have movie to go out and pay for movie tickets.
In the next 3 years, I'm telling you the truth, if you do the math, Disney Plus will start profiting like billions of dollars every year.
I agree with that.
That's crazy, but it's true. And HBO Max, with these hot movies that they're coming out with, can do the same thing. I don't know why they don't launch a Harry Potter series, but they, because I think that would get them more money immediately. But my point is like this is crazy, because them launching these movies, a lot more people are going to sign up for the service. I don't want you to get me wrong on that, but to do this and not discuss it with the creators that make these movies,
that's a huge mistake.
I mean, they're burning bridges, really, and there's a lot of filmmakers that are not going to want to work for them anymore if they continue working this way. And let's think about Warner Brothers this entire damn year. I mean, they fire Johnny Depp, right? They don't fire Amber Heard, or they're Ezra Miller, right? You got that going on. Think about that. They make a Fantastic Beasts movie. This is obviously the year prior, but they make a Fantastic Beasts movie that is not even like, I'm sorry, is
substantial. Hardly
deserves to be in this Harry Potter franchise. That second Fantastic Beasts, it was not good. Then you got then you had what else was it? You had this all this controversy about the Ray Fisher stuff, and I mean, okay, this isn't even a Warner Brothers. Maybe it's not just this year, but I'm talking about what they did with Zack Snyder and the Justice League. Okay, Zack, see you later. Go take care of your family tragedy. By the way, we're gonna reshoot 85% of your movie while you're gone, and not tell you about it. Like, think about what Warner Brothers has been doing, man, and it hasn't been good. Not to say that everything they've done is bad, but like,
I'm gonna point something out again. The only thing Warner Bros. Needs to ever do ever again, and this is why, like, if I get a job option at Warner Bros., I'm not gonna take it. They just need to stick to animated. No, the fuck I won't.
For the money?
No, I refuse. Yeah. I'm sorry. I want to work for a company I can enjoy. Okay. I don't enjoy a lot. The only things that I enjoy that Warner Bros. Really does were in the past, like, let's say early 2000s and prior. Those are the only things I've enjoyed, other than the Harry Potter franchise, and then all the DC animated films.
You like Joker?
That's an exception.
You like the Dark Knight trilogy.
Half.
Okay. You
I
like
do enjoy it. No, it's not
Inception?
something I couldn't get in Inception. It's a great
What?
movie. Slow your roll. I couldn't get into it. It's a great movie, but every time I go to watch it, it's just so long that I pass out during it. So it's not that it's a bad movie whatsoever. It's just like it's not something that keeps my interest.
Well,
And it's not because any reason of it being negative. It's just not something that keeps my
it's
interest.
not supposed to make sense to you till the end.
No, I get that. Again, it doesn't keep my interest. It's just how my brain's wired, bud.
Unbelievable.
So
Damn
I
masterpiece.
mean, I don't want to work for Warner Bros. I'm sorry. This is not something I ever want to do. So these people cutting away from Warner Bros. I don't blame them. I'm sorry.
What about Interstellar?
I don't think I've ever actually watched that.
Oh, it's amazing.
I'll give that a shot, but I mean, I don't think I'll like it really.
I don't know why. It's incredible.
I'll go when I go into these movies. I go into these movies watching them with one thing in mind. Hey, it's a new movie. Be open minded.
Yeah.
But I mean, every time I watch a DC movie anymore, I'm massively disappointed. Other than Joker, but I don't even count Joker as a DC movie. I just count it as its own entity.
You can't deny that Warner Brothers still made it.
No, I'm not going to deny they made it. Again, though, that's an exception. The Dark Knight trilogy is also technically an exception. Do I love them? No. Do I enjoy them? Yes. They're fantastic. But I'm not in love with them.
Keep talking for a second.
No, you're good. So when it comes down to Warner Bros., obviously they're not making good decisions. Obviously they're treating their employees kind of like shit. And I mean, like, I myself, I wouldn't want to be affiliated with that because I want to work with a company that doesn't treat their employees like shit.
Yeah.
I want to work for a company that wants to promote growth within the company. And I mean, like, I want to see the positive sides. I don't want to just be like these directors and actors and everybody working for Warner Bros. Right now, waking up, going to sleep one day thinking they're working for a great company, waking up to find out they're working for a shitty streaming service. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be like that.
So you don't like The Conjuring?
The first time I watched it, yes. The second time, no.
What about The Conjuring 2?
I didn't like it.
That's the one I like better.
I liked Conjuring 1 better. I felt like Conjuring 1 was made better. I felt like when they made Conjuring 2, it was just like, oh, well, we found a movie we can make money off of. Let's continue it.
I just feel like there's plenty of movies that you like from Warner Brothers that came out in the past decade that you're not acknowledging.
Possibly, but I mean, the Conjuring series, I feel like it should have just stuck with one and stayed with one. That's my own personal opinion. I didn't like Annabelle. I like the idea of the stories. I don't like how the stories are executed.
Godzilla? Did you like Godzilla?
Was that the one with Bryan Cranston?
Yeah.
I like Godzilla. I don't like the Godzilla movie they made. I'm half and half on it.
Did you like King of Monsters, the last one?
I haven't watched it.
What about Kong Skull Island? That was great.
I haven't watched that forever, but that also came out in what 2006, 2008? No. That was
Kong Skull Island. No, you're thinking of the original King Kong, which also is a Warner Brothers movie.
That one was decent.
Yeah. I believe.
I don't like a lot of what Warner Bros. Releases anymore. I like some of it, yes. Do I love it? No.
Yeah.
That's just me, man.
Game of Thrones?
Yes, until the ending.
Well, still. I mean, come on. It's revolutionary. That is a Warner Brothers property. It's a Warner Brothers property, yeah.
Okay.
HBO is owned by Warner Brothers, so yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, that explains why I don't have HBO.
Yeah, and it's a mixed bag, man. I mean, we'll see what happens with this. I think it's actually
I'm hopeful. Don't get me wrong, I'm hopeful because I mean, like a lot of these actors, even though I don't like the movies, I mean, these actors put their work into it.
Yeah.
And I feel like they definitely need to get paid. The directors need to get paid. These people need to get paid
And
the
it's not
amount
so
they
much
deserve
that
to
they're
be
not
paid.
getting paid. They always, whatever their front end deal is, they still get, but it's the back end deals that aren't, going to be
What
followed through with
am I
anymore.
gonna be able to? Am I gonna be able to continue my shit?
Yeah, exactly.
See, and that's what I'm saying. They still need to be paid because if they can't continue their shit, they're not getting paid.
Yeah.
Not by who they thought they were getting paid by. I mean, they're gonna go to somebody else,
Well,
obviously.
I think at least, I mean, you got to approach them and work out the deals. Like when you hear that HBO is doing such a massive thing, that's probably going to kill the movie theaters, let's be honest, because you better believe Disney's next to follow suit. They'll probably actually discuss
Yeah.
it with their people, unlike Warner Brothers, but they're next to follow suit. Like you better believe Black Widow's going to go on Disney Plus now. It's without a doubt at this
Yeah,
point.
I mean, I kind of expected it anyway.
Yeah.
It's just very unfortunate the times we're in because these movie theaters. My brother wants to work for a movie theater, and I told him I was like, no, you don't. I was like, maybe back when mom worked for a movie theater, yes, but nowadays, no, you don't. I was like, your job is going to be in jeopardy every day you go in because you never know whenever it's going to be gone.
Yeah.
And it's the unfortunate thing because we're in, like 2 years ago, I feel like you still had some job safety. I feel like movie theaters were visited enough to where it came out with a good, at least at the very bottom, broke even at the very top, at least made a good amount of gross.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel like after this whole COVID hit, movie theaters are in jeopardy,
Yeah.
big time. And I mean, like here in Texas, I don't think they are, but that's just because I'm sorry, Texas, you're all idiots. Half of you motherfuckers don't want to wear your masks. I couldn't tell you how many kids come into my store and their mask is like right here. Like, what's up?
Yeah.
And I mean, like, so at the cost of everybody's lives, I guess the movie theaters will stay open here, but everywhere else where people are probably practicing wearing their masks a little more, not completely, I feel like those movie theaters are definitely in jeopardy.
Unfortunately. So listen, here's the other thing about this. Well, not really about this. I want to move on from this, but still talk about something HBO related. So, and this is actually me correcting a story that we talked about in the past. Uh,
Oh,
so Adam and I were talking the episode where you had to leave, unfortunately. We were talking about Euphoria.
R.I.P. Granddad.
Yes, a show that Adam hadn't seen, and I've been recommending to him for a while. This is actually a really incredible show. Zendaya just won the Emmy for this. She does wonderful work in it. So I had said that what they were going to do when we were talking about this is Euphoria was going to take the footage that they had shot for season 2 and put this into 2 episodes that were coming out this month. Well, they just dropped the first of the 2 episodes, and I'm going to tell you what, that is not what they did at all. They have actually shot 2 brand new episodes to launch season 2. So here's what happened. So apparently, what they ended up doing was they had so this episode, for example, and this is slight spoilers, but it's really not. It's not really giving any big plot details away. But for people who haven't seen this latest episode yet, but so this episode was what they ended up doing is the filmmaker, and I can't think of his name, or the guy who creates the show. I cannot think of his name. What he wanted to do was to take parts of the season 2 script that were a little more contained and film those and make them into extended episodes. So this entire episode takes place in a diner, and it literally is an entire conversation between Zendaya and another Zendaya's character Rue, and I can't think of the actor's name, but the gentleman that plays Ali. And these guys and they are talking in a diner. First of all, this isn't like a review that I'm going to clip out because I will wait for the whole season to do a clip out review of the show, but fantastic. What the show has done with this is incredible. I couldn't believe the raw and realness of this episode that they ended up coming out with. It's quite incredible. I can't wait for this next what they're calling special episodes. But really, obviously, it's what's launching the second season of the show. Yeah, but I cannot wait for the next one. And yes,
Coleman Domingo.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. The two actors though, they performed incredible. This was incredible work by these two, and yeah, I'm loving the show more and more. It's clear to me that the creator is definitely really taking risks and taking big shots, and I think it's paying off a lot. And the other thing I really enjoyed about this episode, and again without getting into spoilers, is we got to just focus on these two characters, and I'm not worried about the stressfulness of all the other characters' lives like we usually had to. So it was really refreshing to watch this stripped down episode of the show, and something that was more contained. And
I know nothing about Euphoria.
I recommend this highly. Again, you probably have HBO soon, so you might be able to binge through it, but something I highly recommend. But
I'll give it a shot. I was just looking over the summary while we were talking.
It is worth, even if, like, I'm telling you, dude, like, even if you don't love the show, which I think you actually will, but even if, say you didn't, for example, it is so worth getting through just to see this episode and understand what's going on, because it is just, it's A+ filmmaking that's going on with this episode, man. It is it really, you're watching this, you're like, oh my god, I can't believe how real this feels and how sucked into it I feel, and it's quite something, man. So I highly recommend it. But I do think you'll enjoy the show, and Zendaya again does phenomenal work in the show, and I cannot praise her as an actress enough right now. She is one of the best working right now. I'm serious, and this show really proves it. So let's move into our next piece of news, which is a bunch of news stories that all kind of came down to one thing. And our final piece of news for the night. But, okay, so earlier it had been reported that, oh gosh, why can't I
Doc Ock is back.
Thank you. And it's going to be Alfred, help me out with the last name, Ian. I'm having a brain fart, and I love this guy. Alfred, the original actor from Spider-Man 2, is going to be coming back and playing Doc Ock. So that was reported today.
Molina.
Alfred Molina, thank you. Shortly after, though, then we get the report, and this, I believe, is all coming to us from Collider, so good on them for getting the story, but then we get the report of Kirsten Dunst is coming back into this movie.
Okay, I didn't throw up yet.
Then we got Andrew Garfield is coming back to this movie. But this is what was amazing about this is it was hours apart. You know what I mean? It really was. It was all kind of taking place just hours apart from story to story. And then it finally hit. Tobey Maguire is returning as Spider-Man. It is happening, folks. It is official. Well, obviously, Sony's not going to comment on it, but it is happening. And they'll comment on it soon. They're going to have to, because we got some legit sources reporting on this. This shit is going down. The year 2020, Ian, where Michael Keaton can come back as Batman and Tobey Maguire can come back as Spider-Man.
Hey.
Yes.
I think it's great that Tobey Maguire is coming back as Spider-Man. But can we talk about the fact that Andrew Garfield's coming back? That's disgusting.
It's not disgusting. It's
awful.
This
is the worst decision that Sony's ever made in their life.
This is great for fans of those films. I mean, it's great for fans of his Spider-Man. It's great for fans of Tobey's Spider-Man. I like them both.
Let's be real. The fans of that one only liked Andrew Garfield because he had a pretty face.
Who cares? Though they're happy. So it's business. It's good business. It's a great business decision. Even if that's the reason, still go see it.
Look, I like the idea he's actually coming back, as gross as it is.
Come on, it's gonna be amazing. We have
as long as he actually plays the role amazingly.
I think he will. I think you will get the best version that he's ever played.
Listen, Andrew Garfield, if you play this role and you fuck it up yet again, I will find you and I will bag you so hard you will never be able to have children to disgrace the movie scenes.
All right, that's enough. All right,
don't you fuck up my Spider-Man.
That's enough.
Spider-Man's my favorite.
All right, that's enough. All right, lay off. He's not even here to defend himself. Calm down.
I don't care.
All right.
He should have defended himself with good acting, but he didn't.
He did. He came out with Hacksaw Ridge.
Maybe that is good. I haven't seen
He's
that.
incredible. It's the best performance that you probably ever did.
He should play those roles and stay the fuck away from Spider-Man.
And Silence. He was great in Silence as well. But
I believe it. I don't believe he's done a good job in Spider-Man.
Okay, I think he will though. I think that even he knows that he didn't do a good job as Spider-Man. He's admitted that.
Then good. He better make up for it. If he doesn't, those nuts are mine.
I promise you that Andrew Garfield will only come back. The only reason he agreed to this was because there was a good script involved. I can promise you that. If there wasn't
I will
a
take
good
advantage of you, Andrew Garfield, the same way that the fucking vocalist from Coldplay took advantage of you on SNL.
All right, take it easy. All right, so we got. Come on. All right, so we get. All right.
Do you know what I'm referencing there?
Yeah, but take it easy. All right, so
No, Spider-Man is my favorite superhero.
I know,
and I don't want them to fuck it up.
Take it easy. He won't.
He better not.
I promise you, you're gonna like his interpretation of Spider-Man in this movie.
I better.
I promise. Even
or else your nuts are coming to me too.
That's fine. I'll put my nuts on the line, but keep Andrew out of this.
No, both of yours.
All right.
I'm greedy.
Well, he's gonna do. I think he's gonna come back. He's gonna redeem himself as this character. I think that's the only reason to do it.
I'm honestly very, very hopeful for it. I really am. I'm really hopeful, and I do believe he'll do a good job.
Thank you. And I think, but Toby.
I have to have my humor in there, bro.
Toby, that's fine. Toby and I know, but Toby and Doc Ock, and Kirsten Dunst coming back as Mary Jane. Now, one of the things that Collider was saying in the article, I think it was Collider. Pardon me if I'm quoting the wrong person here, but I think that this was their article where they were saying that they think that Emma Stone will come back as Mary Jane's or Gwen Stacy soon, and I gotta be honest, I don't think so.
I was about to make a joke too. I was about to be like, I wonder why Gwen Stacy's not coming back.
Right. I gotta be honest, I don't think so. I think that when they killed her. Unless she comes back as Spider-Gwen.
Yes.
Then that could be cool.
Hold on. So if they confirm that Emma Stone comes back, then we know we have Spider-Gwen. There's no way around it.
Let me put it to you this way.
If they say Emma Stone is back and they do not make her Spider-Gwen, they fucked it up.
Yeah. Here, let me put it to you this way. If we hear that they're going to add Miles Morales to this movie, then I'm going to say, yeah, it's a go. We're probably going to get Emma Stone as Spider-Gwen.
If they add Miles Morales to this, I will poop myself.
Yeah.
I will poop myself and send a picture of it to you.
Yeah. But if we don't hear that casting news, don't do that. But I'm gonna go ahead and safely say that that she's probably not gonna come back. I really don't see her signing this deal, but we live in a time where anything's possible. I mean,
the only way that she'll sign this deal is if they make her Spider-Gwen, because it wouldn't be fitting.
Yeah.
Now, if they cast somebody else and we don't know whose role that she's gonna be playing, I'm guessing she's gonna be playing her own Spider-Gwen.
Yeah, and
from a different universe.
And the other thing about this too, and I feel like we all already kind of knew this, but J.K. Simmons is coming back as J. Jonah Jameson, which is amazing.
Yes.
I mean,
I'm sorry, but yes.
Yeah. And
the best JJ.
It's all gonna be exciting, man. I mean, this is incredible. Ian, I guess, what do you think of the news overall, and do you feel like they're going down a good path here?
Look, okay, so I made a joke about Andrew Garfield coming back, and it was a very dark joke about how I want to take his nuts if he does a horrible job on this, and I kind of stand by it. But I do have to say, I'm actually very excited for him to come back. I'm excited for him to redeem his role. I'm sorry, Andrew Garfield. I had to make bad jokes because it's my favorite character, and you hurt me. You hurt me. You left me in the corner. Nobody leaves baby in the corner. Anyway, so I'm excited to see him come back. I am, and I'm excited to see him reprise his role and actually do a good job this time around. I'm excited to see Tobey Maguire come around and not do a very good job on his role, but we'll still love it because it's Tobey Maguire. And I'm always going to be excited about Tom Holland. I'm always going to be. Look, Tobey Maguire gets a pass just because it's nostalgia.
He's the OG.
Nostalgia.
He's the OG.
Yeah, it's nostalgia. And honestly, a lot of people shit on him, but he did a good job.
No, he did. He did a great job in those movies.
Look, Sam Raimi, this is what I'll say. Sam Raimi always does a fantastic job directing. He just gets dealt shitty hands sometimes, and I feel like his directing style fit Tobey Maguire. I feel like that's why Tobey Maguire did so great. Not only because Tobey's acting itself, but I feel like because Sam Raimi knew how to fit with Tobey.
I think we're going to get
How to work Tobey
reintroduced to
in.
Toby in the Strange movie since Raimi's directing the second Doctor Strange. I think that's where we're really going to get reintroduced to him. So
I forgot he was doing that.
yeah.
I'm excited.
Plus,
Look,
the other announcement
not
that's
only
in
that,
this is Benedict
we might get it.
Cumberbatch has been announced for Spider-Man 3. So Doctor Strange will be in the movie also.
Okay, so it's not just Tobey Maguire getting introduced in that movie. It's either one of three things. It's either Tobey, it's either Andrew Garfield, or it's either Andrew Garfield and Tobey both.
Raimi doesn't want to direct Garfield. He wants to direct Maguire.
He didn't have to direct. Hold on, he didn't have to direct Garfield really. All he has to do is put him in 2 seconds of the scene. And be like,
True.
You know how they do the final cuts? They have like 2 seconds of somebody coming in like. How the hell did I end up here? Boom! There's Andrew Garfield.
I think
you didn't have to have anything extra.
I think it's a safe bet that Tobey Maguire will be in the Sam Raimi movie in the Strange and Doctor Strange. I think he'll be.
I'm hopeful.
Safe bet,
because that'd be an amazing way to reintroduce him. And I love Toby. Toby's a little. Toby's a little geek.
Why else would they have hired Sam Raimi to do it? Like it's like, okay, Sam Raimi, do this Doctor Strange movie, and then Doctor Strange is going to cross over into Spider-Man 3. But yet we're not going to let you reintroduce Toby. Like we're not going to let you.
Do we know who's directing Spider-Man 3 yet?
Probably John Watts, who did the last two.
I feel like it needs to be a duo. I think it needs to be John Watts and Sam Raimi.
That could be cool.
That's just me. But then again, I love Sam Raimi. I love Evil Dead. I love Ash versus the God. Why can't I think of the name right now? Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
I love all of those.
Yeah.
I love the movies he releases. I feel like having a duo with him would be a fantastic idea. Do I see it happening?
Sure.
Not necessarily, but it would be a good idea.
Let John Watts finish his trilogy too. I mean, he did a great job in the last two, and I think that this might actually be the last.
That's undisputable.
This might be the last Spider-Man movie that they're able to do under the MCU banner. So yeah, I say let him finish his trilogy out. With this,
I'll agree with that. I hope they give Spider-Man over to MCU. Honestly,
yeah,
I really do. It's not going to happen, but I hope they do. And I know it's not going to happen because of Venom.
I don't care if
it hadn't been for Venom, the release of Venom,
right?
Spider-Man was going straight to MCU.
Well, that's what I was going to say. They'll probably they're. I mean, I don't really mind them building him out more in the Sony verse or whatever. That's fine.
Even continue to do deals with Disney. Hopefully this time they don't try to fuck them over, but like continue to do deals with Sony.
Yeah.
Both of them, and make the deals work. And you know what? Sony gets to keep Spider-Man, which means I get my console exclusive Spider-Man games, which means I get my console, my Spider-Man consoles, which I love. And I mean, we can still have everything work.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting about the whole thing is, we have Olivia Wilde's going to be directing that Spider-Verse movie she's doing over there.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, she's going to be directing one of those, and what she had said in one of the interviews, this is interesting, the movie she's doing is specifically going to help build the Sonyverse, but what she had said is that Kevin Feige was overseeing this film, but Kevin Feige works for Marvel, so is he working for both now and overseeing Sony and Marvel, or how's this working? I don't know.
That might be their deal right there, is Kevin
Feige?
Feige?
Yeah, and then Kevin Feige was like, "Get my name out your mouth, woman," because he didn't want anybody to know. So he was like, "Don't talk about that."
That might be their deal right there. That might be what keeps them in connection.
Could be.
And I mean, either way, I feel like Marvel still needs a say in what happens in the Spider-Verse, but Sony still needs a say, because like the movies they have released haven't been awful, with the exceptions of Amazing Spider-Man 2 specifically, and I mean, like, Sony did a great job with Venom. I love Venom. I don't know how everybody else felt about it, but I loved it. I thought it was a fantastic watch, and I'm honestly excited to see Carnage. If they,
I hope it's good. I hope it's good.
But also, Woody Harrelson as Carnage is just fitting.
Yeah, it works. I liked him in the post credit. I just didn't like that movie. But
I liked the movie. That's just me. That's opinion.
No, a lot of people liked it. I wasn't one of them. But I like Tom Hardy obviously, but I didn't like that movie. But the thing with what was I gonna say? Like if I was gonna throw in if Kevin Feige overseeing both Marvel and Sony right now was part of the deal, then that almost indicates that when they had their little breakup there for a minute, that Disney was the one being the assholes in that.
Are you talking about? Are you talking about with what happened in
Sony and Disney? Yeah, like that makes me feel like
See,
then maybe Disney was the ones being the assholes, even though
no,
it was
no,
painted
no, no.
differently.
From my understanding, it was Disney being the assholes.
Oh, really?
Now, I feel like this was also a ploy. You know, okay, so like there's always been feuds with musicians, in quotations feuds, and it's always been to build up careers for the other bands. So like what bands were they? It was Volumes versus some other band. I can't think of the name of the band right now. I can't think of who it was, but it was Volumes versus this band, and that built the relationship between the bands, but also built a relationship between the fans.
Yeah.
So I feel like
True.
that was a ploy, like
Maybe.
brand new versus Taking Back Sunday.
Yeah, I don't think it was a ploy because there's a whole story. I'll tell you exactly why though. I know what you're trying to allude to, but I don't think it was a ploy. Like I really think it was legit because Tom Holland, they revealed, I mean, was really the one that put the band back together, so to speak, because he was the one that called up Bob Iger and he left him a voicemail and said, "Hey, I'm going to be sad. I'm not going to be playing Spider-Man anymore, but thank you for the opportunity, and it was awesome to work for Disney and all that." And Bob Iger, after hearing the voicemail from Tom Holland, was like, "You know what? This is silly. We're going to go work this out." And he went over after Tom Holland left him the voicemail, which is incredible, but...
Look, Tom Holland as Spider-Man was the best decision any company has ever made.
100%.
Honestly.
And he is growing to be one of my new favorite actors. Like, he does well in everything.
It blows my mind how many people are like, yeah, I don't like Tom Holland as much. It blows my mind because he captures the essence of what Peter Parker and Spider-Man are supposed to be.
Yeah.
He captures the essence. Tom Holland, hit me up, bro. Look, if I don't know like what way you swing. I'm straight, but I mean I'll be gay for you. Anyway,
I think a lot of the reason though is because like a lot of people were introduced, like casual viewers were introduced to Spider-Man's Tobey Maguire, so to them that's their Spider-Man. Then you and we know the comic book one, and we feel like Tom Holland is
comic book, video game, one. The whole 9 yards.
Right,
dude. Even the animated series, those all just.
Right, a lot of people just. They want Toby back, and I think they're now they're going to be happy with that, but they're not used to that Tom Holland sort of persona on this. But listen, we got to move on to the ending of this episode, which is going to be Mandalorian spoiler talk for the rest of the episode. Yes,
can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I'm kind of sad we're moving to this part just because I love talking Spider-Man.
Oh, I know. I get it. But we're moving toward 2 hours, so that's the only
I know. Let's continue.
Sorry. All right, guys. Did you have anything else you want to add though before we move into it?
Andrew Garfield, I just gave you a bunch of flack, but I do want to say I do think all in all you were a fantastic actor. I haven't seen a lot from you personally, but I mean there's a reason why you're picked for roles. And I was making jokes about your nuts. The statement still kind of stands, but all in all, I'm looking forward to seeing you play. Tobey Maguire, I'm looking forward to you coming back. Tom Holland, I'm always looking forward to you, baby. Yeah. That's pretty much it. I know they'll never probably ever watch this, and if they do, you know what? Hell yeah, shout out.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to all 3 of those as well. I mean, obviously, this is amazing news.
Definitely Kristen Dunst's coming back. I liked her as Mary Jane.
And we can't leave Zendaya out of the mix. She's popping up a lot in the news lately, but we can't leave her out. She's coming back in, and
that's a given.
That's exciting. I'm excited for Mary Jane to meet Mary Jane. Hopefully, it's going to be MJ to meet MJ. I'm sorry, I forgot Michelle to meet Mary. But here we go. Let's move in. I'm going to put up the big spoiler warning for you guys, and we're going to move into the end of the show, which is Mandalorian. Season 2, Episode 6.
Spoiler.
Chapter 15.
Spoiler.
I believe that this
Rotten
one
Eggs
is 14.
Incoming.
Chapter 14. It's called What is this? The Tragedy. That's what we're going to be talking about.
That is what it is.
All right. So, guys, listen. Ian, what'd you think of the episode? Go ahead. I'll let you start.
I was a bigger fan of the last episode, but I still love this episode.
Yeah.
I feel like this episode was fantastic. It wasn't story as much story based as it was action, and I'm
Yeah.
cool with that. I like that they're doing action in some episodes, and I like that they're doing story in others, and they're not making it too predominant throughout the whole
Yeah.
the whole series. I feel like good mixes are a big thing because I don't want to watch action every single episode, and I also don't want to watch just story building every episode. So I feel like this episode was a good hit after doing story building on the
Definitely.
last episode. I feel like this was a good mix
Yeah.
because it gave just action. There was very little dialogue. It was all about building what kind of is coming up, but through the course of action.
Yeah.
It was cool seeing a lot of the scenes that I don't want to talk about hardcore just yet until we start breaking it down. But I liked the ending. I liked the beginning. The middle was nice. Bigger fan of the last episode, but this episode was definitely solid. It was a nice follow up.
Yeah.
Second favorite episode of the series.
Yeah.
Of the season.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I definitely I thought that this was just so worth giving over to Robert Rodriguez, like, because he's such a great action director that I thought that he really directed the hell out of this one. I like that he was like, fuck your stagecraft technology, this is going to be the first one that we shoot on location, so it looked very
so
raw.
This one was on.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why it looks so raw and real and gritty and just on the edge. And this is spoiler talk, so let's talk. I mean, Boba Fett smashing in stormtroopers' heads was unbelievable. It was so cool.
Boba Fett just coming in general was cool.
Right. I'll reiterate this point. I've never been a Boba Fett fan, and
Neither have I.
Now I am.
I have a Boba Fett mug, but
Yeah.
being a fan of Boba Fett, not necessarily.
Now I am. Now I like him. They gave him purpose this episode, and it gave him more reason. The fact that he is Mandalorian, this is a question that's been on all of our minds. We always knew that him and Jango Fett wore the armor. Never knew if they were actually Mandalorian, and they confirmed that this episode. So that was really awesome. And they humanized this character to a point to where it's like,
Yes.
they didn't just humanize Boba, they humanized the whole Fett family now. So
Yeah.
that was really cool.
Because Jango just felt robotic in episode 2.
Yeah. Speaking of robotic, that was one of my problems with the episode was Fennec. I don't mind her being in the show. I just thought the half human, half droid thing, even though it's something we haven't seen before, was a little off color. So
I didn't have an issue with it. I thought it was like, oh, cool, whatever.
the other problem was when he was looking through the thermal Mando, and anytime he saw an enemy, it was red, and that's never been the case in the show. Anytime you've seen somebody through the thermal, they've been multiple different colors, and for some reason,
I don't think I paid attention to that.
Yeah, for some reason now bad guys are just highlighted in red, and you can tell Robert Rodriguez really loves his video games for that reason. You know what I mean?
I was about to make a reference. What is this? Call of Duty?
Right, exactly. But it's cool because the video game influence really plays well to the rest of the episode, because you can really see like how it informed the action, and
It's nuts because I would not have realized that they were just colored red.
yeah, it was an odd choice to me, but I get where his influence with that comes from. And it doesn't entirely not make sense. It could be because of the distance that he was looking at him in too, and that could have been part of it. So it doesn't entirely not make sense. It just bothered me as seeing the, any other time we've seen enemy through the thermal, it's been multiple different colors. So I don't know. But like I said, other than those two issues, I don't have any issues with this episode. I thought it worked out perfect. I mean, I thought,
There's a one huge issue with this episode.
Go ahead.
Grogu, he's getting captured.
I mean, it's not. Yeah, I mean, it was quite something, and quite a negative way to end the episode, and quite a big cliffhanger. But it doesn't. It was drives the story forward, right? Exactly, and that was something else. Is like Gideon is now like incredibly intimidating. I think as a villain. I mean, I think they drove that even further. He says now we have our donor, right?
I feel like our theories are still there.
Yeah, I feel like I'm very curious to know what this all means. Does this mean a donor to build Palpatine? A donor to build... Well, Palpatine made Snoke, right? So what is going to happen, I mean, with this kid? The fact that he was throwing around stormtroopers like little plastic dolls, I'm wondering about that too. That the kid is able to just do that now. Somebody had a really cool theory that I'd heard where,
I feel like he's always had the ability. I think that he's always been too scared, and now that he's in enemy arms, he's like, "Fuck this, fuck you guys."
well, what we had to always figure out too is like, how are these going to connect to the sequels? And somebody had mentioned about like the last time we saw a Jedi sitting on a stone in the sequels, they were transporting themselves over out into the galaxy, that being Luke Skywalker. The last time, not in timeline, but in terms of when things had come out, release wise. We saw Luke Skywalker in Last Jedi transporting himself halfway across the galaxy sitting on a stone. Could Grogu have done the same thing and gone to an Ezra, a Luke, reached out to one of them in the same way? And I gotta tell a Cal Kestis, I gotta tell you, I still want Ezra or Cal, but personally,
hands down either of them.
But the more I think about it, the more Luke Skywalker actually starts to make a lot of sense to me.
You know who makes more sense though? Honestly, between Luke and the rest of them, I'm gonna say right now, because of the age that Mark Hamill's reached, I feel like Yoda would make more sense.
No,
wait. This is after Yoda's passed.
Yoda's dead.
I'm stupid.
No, no way. Luke actually makes a lot of sense.
I apologize. Here. I'm stupid.
And take Mark Hamill's age out of it. They could cast Sebastian Stan. I think fans would accept it. I really do.
I didn't even think about him. Yeah, that'd be fitting.
Cast Sebastian Stan. I think fans would like it. Even if they wanted to cast him and have Hamill do the voice over Sebastian Stan, you'd at least have the look with Sebastian and whatever you want to do. It's not like it's entirely out of the realm of possibility to do something like that. But yeah, man, the gritty look at this episode. This is one of the more well-directed episodes that they've had so far. It like clearly Rodriguez knows what he's doing behind the camera with this stuff.
Warzone, bro.
Yeah. Fennec like jumping off the thing, and that was cool. That was
kicking the rock down. I like that.
And even though I was never like a Boba Fett fan, and really wasn't even till this point. Well, I started like him a little more when he was kicking ass, but one of the things that was so cool to me is when he shows up in the armor, and because even though I wasn't, it didn't cater toward me, it makes me excited to think about all the other Star Wars fans that did get excited about that.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I was still even kind of excited. Yeah. I was like, "Ooh, old man's kicking ass."
Yeah, it didn't cater toward me, but it was still exciting. It was like seeing him get his armor back, and it's like, oh, and it really, the other thing about it is it gives you this connection to the originals now, and like a big connection, and we got this character that's now carried over. That's not like a massive character, but he's still got carried over, and he's massive in the sense of his popularity with people. But
yeah, and I'm actually kind of excited to see the Boba Fett series.
Yeah, now it makes sense to me.
Yeah, like after watching this, now I think the Boba Fett series is either going to take place, like from what I'm seeing now, I think it's going to take either place before all this is happening.
I think so.
Building up to it, or it's going to take place after he's done helping Mando.
Well, let's see how the season. Let's see how the season ends, right? I think that's still awaiting, but I like that.
Or see how season 3 ends.
True, but I think we're gonna get Boba before that. I think.
No, we are.
I think the slate next year will be probably Boba Fett in the summertime, Mando in the fall, and then in the winter we'll start. Well, Mando fall through winter. And then in the winter, we'll start Obi-Wan, probably, is how I think next year's going to go. But
I think that'll all be neat.
Yeah. Because Obi-Wan starts filming in March, so I think we'll get it by the end of the year. So, yeah, I mean, this like I said, I mean, I was really impressed by this episode, especially when it has characters that don't cater toward me. I mean, I love the way they humanized Boba Fett. Like, I like that he was like, he's going to go, he's going to go help Mando. And he's like, I like that he was like, no, we still have a debt to pay. And when he said that at first, I was like, oh shit, what do you need Mando to do now for you? And then I like the little bait and switch where he's like, no, we got to help you. We promised that. I was like, that's very cool.
Promise is a promise.
Yeah. And
very Mando.
And it's good to know Boba Fett, is all about honor and that he's going to honor his deal and that he, man, I mean, Tamara Morrison came in and did a fantastic job playing Boba Fett again. I mean, it was very cool. Obviously, we've seen him play Jango, and then he did the voiceover when they remastered the original trilogy for Boba, but now we get to see him back, and he did a really phenomenal job playing him again, man. And And yeah, I mean, I love the way he says Tatooine. Like, I thought that was always cool every time he would say that. And dude, the show just it doesn't never deliver. Like, it always delivers week to week. And
I've been
it's
happy with every single
I
episode I've
know.
watched. If I haven't been happy, I've been fucking ecstatic. I've been so ecstatic like a little schoolgirl.
Yeah, I know. Let me tell you, man. If last week didn't bring the fan base back together, this week did. I'll tell you right now. I
I
think
agree with that.
everybody's still obviously clenching a little to see how this season ends, but I think that we're back into a good spot
This
here.
season's gonna end well.
I think so. End well or end surprisingly or something. I think it's going to be something that's going to keep us all on board and all in touch.
Either way, it's gonna end well.
Yes, I agree. And I think it's going to be a really, really phenomenal ending. Guys, if Ian, did you have anything else to add to that?
I mean, I think I have a quick theory about
Okay.
about the whole Grogu throwing shit around.
Yeah,
I think he got in touch with his dark side a little bit.
it's possible. Very possible.
I think he was having a very understandable tantrum.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, he was, but it is possible that he's getting in touch with the dark side. It'd be interesting to see how they maybe play into that later. But guys, listen, if you have anything else you want to add about the Mandalorian, let us know how you like the season so far, and if you like this episode. I'm excited for these final two. Oh, I think my theory, by the way, about George Lucas directing the finale is actually true because. Now we know which one Robert Rodriguez did, and we know Rick Famuyiwa is doing next week, and they're keeping the last one a secret. So, guys, do you think George Lucas will come direct the finale? I think that'd be.
I'm at this point where I definitely think so.
Yeah, it'd be crazy if we saw this amazing episode where like that's the best one yet, and then the credits roll
it'd
and
be
George
cool?
Lucas.
We were talking about Grogu getting in touch with Luke.
Yeah,
So think about it like this. Now that we've just talked about this,
yeah.
George Lucas directing an episode where Grogu has his answers from Luke.
Right. If they're gonna bring Luke back in, like who better to do it? Like we were talking about the Raimi Spider or Tobey Maguire thing. Who better to bring Luke in, right? Again,
Than
than
his real
George
father.
Lucas. Right. I mean, really, that would be the best way to do it. That's another reason I think it might be Luke now. Like I think that's a high possibility.
I still would love to see. I would love to see Cameron Monaghan. McConaughey. I can never say his last name.
Cameron Monaghan.
Monaghan.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Cameron. I think it'd be cool to see him in a live action of
Yeah.
Star Wars. So if they were to bring him in, that would make me insta nut.
Yeah.
But Ezra or Luke would be perfectly fine.
Yeah. I think there's more to Cameron or Cal Kestis' story in Shameless Fallen Order too. So I think that'll be coming down the pipe here pretty soon, hopefully. And we'll
Shameless
see how that
Fallen
goes. So yeah, guys, listen. If you like this video today, please hit the like button below. Subscribe to the channel. Leave some feedback in the comment section. Share this with your friends. Much appreciated. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Ian, thank you for sitting down with me today, man. And where can the people find you?
You can find me at Jutacular Ian on either Instagram and or YouTube. I've not been uploading on YouTube, but creative blocks, man.
Happens. But check out the things he does have because it's all pretty good stuff. And you guys can find me. I'll be leaving my social media in the description below. So be sure to follow me there. And also, guys, hopefully an exciting announcement soon. Not going to tell you what that is, but it might be coming down the pipe. But I just wanted to kind of give you some foreshadow on that. So we'll let you know. I will let you know about that soon. But yeah, guys, anyway, outside of that, do all the things I asked you to do, please. That would be much appreciated. And thank you very much. This has been another episode of Dom's Corner. I've been Dom Martino, and we will see you guys actually Saturday for a Rebels Season 3 spoiler review. So look forward to that. We will see you guys then. Bye-bye.